welcome to the MapTool tutorial. This is pretty new for me, so forgive me if it's going to be a little bit chaotic. I'll be working through the, basically every feature it has up to the time we have, from top to bottom. I won't be explaining how to install the Tricks because I've had a tutorial video for that as well already, and an explicit manual. So I will be focusing on the feature it has and how to use them. Okay, can everybody see my desktop screen?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah?
Yes, please.
Okay, great.
Yeah, is there a way I can like maximize that over everything else on the screen?
F11 is one way.
It's not quite full screen, but I think that's the best you're going to get.
Okay. Alright, we'll go with that.
Okay. Well, I think it's useful, the first thing, even though it's a bit in the wrong order, is to start with the settings, because it's one of the first things you should be checking out if you're really going to use this tool. So I'm going to run through that, although you will be missing some hooks into certain features. Okay, 4 tabs. First tab, General. First section on campaign load. This is pretty straightforward. If you check this box here, you can select a map here, and the map you choose will be the map that starts when you load your campaign, which can be useful. Then you can set the center coordinates, so the map will be centered on this coordinate, or you can use a center on me pad, and everywhere you place it on the map will be loaded, then it will be centered on that section. And a central me pad looks like, I'll zoom in here, this is a central me pad. So if you load a map, then the map will center on here. Okay, back to the settings. Last setting you see is start switches form. If you, I'll get into this later, but if you use switches for the doors, basically your players can click on the switch and the door will automatically open or close. But you need to run a form in the background, and if you click this, then it will automatically start, so you don't have the hassle that people start clicking on the door button while nothing is working.
So one question there
Yes?
about doors and moving. Does that work with vision blocking as well, or is that still manual?
Well, that's a yes and a no. The current version of MapTool 87 has no support for manipulation of vision blocking layer, so it's without. But Jam's the man, funny name in this case, he created some tools to manipulate vision blocking layer, and I've built them into version 18, and I'll get to that setting a little bit later on. And in that case you can actually manipulate vision blocking layer with doors. So you click on the button, the door opens, and the vision blocking layer is removed.
Awesome. Continue, please.
Yeah. One thing that's also good to know is that every setting has its own pop-up with a tooltip. I mainly do this for myself because I tend to forget what everything actually really does. So, I guess for most people it will be useful as well. So you don't have to flip through a manual. You can find everything. You should have enough on what the tooltips tell you. Okay, next section is the settings. Use alternative transparent image for foliage. I'll get to that one later. Check all maps on startup. Basically you should leave this always unchecked. I don't know why it's still here, but what it does, when you place pads like teleport pads on the map, you need to initialize the map before the teleport pads actually work. If you have 50 maps, then you will scan through all 50 maps in one run. And check all maps on startup means that it will, every time you load the map, it will run through all the maps. The advantages is that if you made any changes, if you for example delete a pad, and we get into the pads later on, but if you delete a pad from a map, then with every move you will get an error. It's bloody annoying, but there's no real good way to work around it. And then you need to initialize the map again. If you if you click this box, then you are assured, unless you do it during your game, that you won't get any bugs errors during your play. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Automatically swap to map for interpads. That was a request from someone. Basically, if you step, you have many types of pads. One of the type of pad is an interpad, which means that if you step on it, you swap maps and you land on a pad which is linked to that one on another map. If you do like to move the token but not switch the map automatically, you uncheck it. If you check it, you move onto the token, then you switch the maps, and you will your next view will be the new map with your same token centered on the map. Show.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So when they move over an inner pad, it automatically goes to the new map.
Yeah.
But if it's not checked, what happens?
It disappears. I'll show you. Let's see. Do I have it?
Oh, so it removes the inner pad then?
No, it doesn't remove. Library. I need a token. Token. Where are I? No. That's why I can't find them. Let's not use dragons. Let's use an elf. Okay, so pads I'm talking about. This, for example, is a teleport pad, which is on the same map, and it jumps. While the red one here is an interpad, which will move you to another map. Now you see immediately that it swaps maps.
Right.
And hopefully now it goes back again. Now if I run the settings and I turn this off and I move the elf again, and okay, that's one thing to add to my list.
I have a question there.
Oh no, it's working. It's actually working. I used the wrong command. No, it shouldn't be loading the map.
See.
Oh, it works appropriately. Only I instead of using the move to map, I use some sort of, I don't know, copy paste. I don't know, the wrong command.
See. It doesn't move your vision to the new map.
Yeah.
Just
But the map reload shouldn't happen. So interpad.
If you have your lock to GM vision on,
Yeah.
and that box is disabled, what happens to the vision then?
Lock to GM view. I don't know how that works over different maps.
Nor do I. I thought that was a question because I don't have much practical use. I just thought it was an interesting question to ask.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I have no clue.
I don't believe it'll do anything.
Possibly not. No.
If your GM's on moves to a different map, I think he has to call you to the map in order for you to center on the GM's view.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so as well. So there's that one. I'm going to turn it back on. Show group panel on select. I actually need to read this one. Okay, right. If you that's actually a feature which is not on the list, I think. Well, maybe it is. Group movement. You can create groups, which basically means if you have 10 tokens which are a group, if you move one, then the other 9 will move along the same path. And I think that if I turn this on, there is also a group formation tool in which you can do echelon, line formation, wedge formation, diamond, etc. And I think if you click on a group token, then automatically a menu will pop up showing the different formation settings. This is the one I was talking earlier about. This MT version supports the macro VBL, and in this case it actually does, because I used a patched version. But the the out-of-the-box build 87 version does not support it, and you should uncheck it, or you will run into errors. And I created this basically so you can still use it with the current version, but I do like to improve it. So if you are using the patched version, then you can check it, and division blocking layer support will be activated. Maximum of pad scans per run, that's a bit technical, just don't change it. Name base of map, this one is important, where your lib tokens are, so lib on token move and lib event macros, which are the two core libraries of MapTools, should always be on the base map. The base map doesn't really need to name it base, you can also name it forest or teleports to, as long as these two libraries are on that map. Exclude light types, that's for a tool in which...
I have a question.
Yeah? Yes?
Does your base map also have to have like all the little forest elements and trunks and...
No, they don't, but there is a function summon token, and it always refers to the base map. So if you, for example, put all your bestiary, animals, monsters, NPCs, etc. on the base map, and you click on summon token, then you get a list of all these creatures in your drop down, and you can select one and teleport it or copy it to the current map. So for the summon token macro, which is also a feature, it's useful to have the base map defined. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Exclude light types, that's another function which I will get later on. Basically you can, the light function is not very, you say that, lacks a graphical user interface in MapTools. So, and also you cannot set the light source for 20 tokens at a time. This light tool has a graphical user interface for multiple light sources and multiple selected tokens, but because it will show all light sources, and that's not always useful, you can set exclusions here. For example, I have blast areas for grenades, and I don't need those in my light source macro, so I put them in exclusion here.
Can't you put lights in light groups? Maybe you can.
Yeah, you can.
That way.
These are groups. So the grenade is a light group, and there are I think there are about 50 blast areas. So if I have my light tool, I do not wish to see the 50 blast areas of my grenades. Neither from my flame launcher, neither from deflector shields, suppressing area, and I don't know what blah is. I think it's a leftover. Okay, animations. There are, if I remember correctly, 3 types of animations that I've created. More of an experimental, for fun actually. They're not really useful to use with multiple clients, unless you have a very fast internet connection. But the doors, for example, are the obvious one. The second one are moving tokens, and the third one is animated text. And these run animation per client works for the tokens and the doors. And what it basically does is it creates a copy. For example, if you open the door, you can actually see it moving, but it's updated for all clients, which means that you get a very staggering picture on the other clients, or they only see it closed and open. So if you check run animation per client, then it creates a copy of the door on the client for every client. It makes it visible to owner only, so only that client can see that door, and then it animates on that client. So everybody has a smooth picture of a door opening. But it's pretty system intensive, and it's also...
Except the GM, because he gets to see everybody's animation.
Yeah, that's true. The GM, but I mean, the GM should eat it, because, well, you're the GM, and you see all the hidden stuff and all the layers anyway. So for the GM, it looks very ugly. You get a ghosting effect, but the players only see one door moving. The problem is, yeah. Oh, the issue only I have with this is that there is some sort of raise bug in MapTools, and sometimes doors are not deleted; they remain. So, especially if you have many clients, then you shouldn't use it because it's buggy. Out of my hands, buggy. Time lock delay.
I can have a,
Yeah. Sorry.
an inquiry there.
You're very soft all of a sudden.
I
Yeah,
switched over my headset because the other one was being a bitch. About animations, you said they were very choppy.
Yeah.
Over internet connections.
Yeah.
Has that been tested over local connections?
Yeah, over local connections works perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah. Time lock delay. That's for the door activation buttons. That's also a bit of a technical story. Basically, it boils down to if you click on a button to open a door and the door opens and then closes again, now you need to increase this number to say 1000. Basically, if you click that button, the macro is fired or run or is executed 4 times, 3 or 4 times, and the time lock delay makes sure that in case of 500 means half a second, 500 milliseconds, that the macro is aborted for a period of 500 milliseconds, and after that you can activate it again. And this makes sure that the door is not open, closed every time you click it once. Is that clear?
Yeah, I have some code that might fix that for you, by the way.
Yeah, and I know you do it on a much cleaner way than I do, but I thought it required a player token per token. Isn't that correct?
For that, possibly.
Yeah, and I didn't really like it, so I thought I'd go for the dirty way, which is just put a timer on it. But I'm still interested. If it's not with a player token, then I'm certainly interested, and I could be removing this. Okay. The summon token macro. All right. Yeah. What I said earlier, there's one macro in which you can click and it can summon creatures, PCs, NPCs, other stuff from the base map. Obviously, the macro needs to know what is a PC. The PC is, for example, basic type. An NPC should also be basic type, so this is wrong. But it depends on your game. If in your game you use a different property type, like character or monster or whatever, then you can set them here. And they will be grouped in different sections. List of summon token property types. Well, I have one. Grenade. I think I can better show this. So let's get the summon token. Here it is. So you have PC, NPC, and here, for example, is the grenade section. The PC, NPC, all of them. Both NPC and PC, all tokens which are on the base map. The grenades, which are in this case none, but that's the one I added, and special tokens, which I can also add. It checks the token layer. Most of my tokens on this map are on the object layer, which is the reason why this is also empty. You can give the amount. You can spread them, so if you summon 5 tokens at once, then they're not stacked in one place, but they're nicely spread in 5 different cells. And they will be centered either on a token that you select. So you select and then run this macro, then the 5 or 6 or 1 token you summon will be dropped next or on top of that token. Or you can set some coordinates where you want them. And if you want to know where the coordinates are, if you look at the bottom right, you see, for example, here 8830, which is the coordinates of the grid here. I hear some very interesting noise.
Sorry, guys.
Is everything great? Okay. Next. These were all the major settings. The rest is we can go through faster. Exclusions. If you initialize a map, which I explained earlier, you have several maps with all kinds of paths on it, and they need to be initialized. Here you can set exclusions. So, for example, you could exclude your base map. Well, in this case, I have excluded forest. I will explain later why. If there are other maps you do not want to initialize every time you click on initialize map, you can exclude them here. Exclude property types. For example, here I have the property type special path, and I think I forgot, yeah, exactly, forgot to add okay the last time. So, sorry. For example, here special path. If you look at, I need to go to the object layer now. Let's say go here. If I take a path, then I've named it special path. Basically, the only thing for a path that is important is its name. In this case, path start, which gives its functionality. But if you also give it a property type special path, then if you move it, it will be ignored. So if I move this teleport path on top of another teleport path, then nothing happens. If I change the, for example in basic, then it will be teleported upon itself, which would be very interesting. But if I move it here, then it should be teleported. Oh, that's a drop. If I move it here, nothing happens. Also. Okay, maybe because it's on the object layer. Funny. Yeah, I think it's because of the object layer. Let's move it to the token layer. Let's try this again. Yes, now it's teleported. And oh, if I change it back to special path again, then it should not be teleported. And it's not. So that's the exclusion for property types in this case. So these are the property types that are excluded when you move them around. On token move will not be triggered, or anything that is on token move. Any macros which are in on token move will not be triggered when a token has this type. Toggles. These are some extra settings. Group movements. I'll get into that later. But as I said, if you can group 10 tokens. On token move, checks every single step of these. So it will check if it's a group token. If I uncheck it, then it won't check it, and the system will be slightly faster. VBL stamps. This is linked to this setting. So the macro vision blocking layer. If that's on, then this setting will appear, and if you turn it on, then the vision blocking layer stamps are activated. And vision blocking layers is a vision block which you can put on a token and which will move along with the token itself, which I'll show later on. Restore fog of war means if you move a token, then the fog of war is completely restored for everything, and it's cleared again for the PCs. I think it's called expose PC area only. VBL move check. This is actually not mine. This is Alias's work. What it does is it checks if a token moves through a vision blocking layer, and if it does, it moves it back. I'll turn it on to show you how it works later on. Center on token means that every single time you move it, the map will be centered on the token. Can be really annoying, but it can also be very useful, so it's a matter of taste. Trigger pads on zero move. If you wiggle a token a bit, then the on token move is triggered. So if you wiggle the token a little bit while it's on a teleport pad, then it will be teleported again. Here you can turn it off. I usually leave it on because I find it useful, but again, matter of taste. Check special paths. Uncheck, turn off the special paths entirely. I think if you turn this off, then the special paths won't work. So teleports are deactivated when I uncheck this. And alt image map. That's a bit too technical for now to explain, so I'm going to skip this one. The movement limiter. I can turn this on as well. Basically, this will, well, for the GM it won't do much, but for a player, it will limit the movement to 20 squares in this case. Is all clear?
For the last one, the movement limiter, is that able to be reset, or if it's like, for example, if a character moves to a square, so I didn't want to go to that square, I want to go to the next square, and
it's per move. So you have to drag your token in one move. If you do, I don't know, 10 steps at a time, then you can keep on moving.
I see. Okay.
So so you have to use waypoints, and then you do the reason I build this is because I have terrain difficulty areas, which I also be explaining later, I hope. And then it's useful because you can have movement times 2 or movement times 3, and people need to start calculating, and then they also move diagonally, and things get messy. So this is the reason I built this one. You can drag your token over a certain area, and the whole tool will either move you back to your furthest position or completely reset the move. That one I don't know which one of the two it does, but if you really want to use this in your game, you still need some coding skills, because I really did the basic stuff, and it's, well, even what I did is not really system agnostic, yeah. But okay, it's more a showcase of, well, you can use this as well. Finally, general events. This will require coding skills. You can create events. An event can either be a hello world in the chat, or some coordinates of a token that has just moved, or it can be a trap that being triggered, and a trap, but that's why also you need some coding skills. You can do a dex check, and after the dex check is failed, and you apply, I don't know, 1d10 hit points minus any soak it has, the token has, and then you apply it, and you put something to the chat. That kind of stuff is an event, or actually it's the result of an event. You need to code it yourself. If you have created such a macro, and you need to create these, I'll show you that, on the event macros. Sometimes I'm able to actually think of a name that's useful. Here are some examples. For example, into teleport message. What's teleport pre-message? Let's look at this one. This is an animate text. That's a bit annoying. So I can. Well, why not? Teleport pre-message. This is a macro which I could link to to anything I would like, but basically I've written it. Let's see here. So before teleport was saying map teleport pre-message. So I've now turned it on. I think this has an effect on the chat, but I've wrote this a really long time ago, so I need a token. And let's move it. Let's see what happens. Okay, here. So it activates a animated text, teleports in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it teleports. Did everybody see this? Hello?
No.
No?
No, I have not.
You have not. I'll do it again. You see a black box popping up in the middle of the screen. Here.
There's apparently some lag in the system. I still see the screen that has the toggles tab still up.
Oh, right.
Your mouse is over the general events.
Okay. Well, I'm much further. Then I'll probably need to wait.
I'm also experiencing these kind of delayed problems. I'm going to just restart the Hangout to see if that refreshes where you are.
Okay. I'll put the video on record on here. Yeah. Running again. So What was I explaining? Oh yeah, the pre-teleport message. So if I drag this dragon on the pad, then hopefully you can see it now. Except for the error message I get here, but it's probably bad coding on my behalf. You can see a black screen teleporting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it's teleported. Did everybody see that?
I did, yes.
Okay, awesome. So that's basically what you can do in the settings with linking events. Let's go here again. This is before teleport, well, the other stuff after teleport, before teleport to another map, etc, etc. And that concludes the event sections. That only took half an hour. 30:41.
Picking up speed here.
Yeah. This is probably one of the hardest ones, because it's well, it covers a lot of material which is already in the bag of tricks. Okay. Let's start with the teleports. You've already seen them in action. Okay. Teleport pads are actually. Let's put the chat away. I've created this. I hope everybody can see it. This screen a while ago, because there are many teleport pads which all have their own working. The basic ones are these four. That is these four, which are the teleport pads. All the pads here, they all work on the same principle. The only thing that's important is their name. So if you name any token pad start, you have to make sure that every number is unique. And I think, but I'm not sure, we could always try it out, that you can also put here something like, I don't know, Abraham. And as long as there is a pad and which it has the same name, then these two pads will be linked after you initialize the map. So is that clear? Because this is the core of everything.
How do you initialize?
How do you initialize? Right.
With the big red button, it says initialize pads?
Yeah, exactly. You push this button and initialize. I will do it once, so you get the idea. Yeah, I did initialize. So now we wait. I hope. Here we go. These are the pop-up you get here are special pads, which I'll explain later. And here's the result. It's interesting. Might have been that I've excluded something, or well, anyway. This is a good showcase. You see every map which is not excluded. So VBL, limited sites, examples, and yes, I clicked on base. So base is excluded now. The base map is excluded from the initialization, which means that this map here starts to scream because all the inter-teleport maps which are linked to the base map can't find their friend anymore. But here it shows, for example, on the vision blocking layer map, it found three roofs called 1, 2, and 3. Here there is a interpad called 3, well, etc. Everything on all the maps is shown here, and if there's an error, so
I don't really see anything other than what I know what we're supposed to be seeing is a big frame with all the list of the pads, but
you're not seeing
that in the video. Yeah.
Ah, crap! I think we have the link is bad. Oh. Okay. So okay. Well, what kind of pads do you have? As I said, you have the local transportation pads, which are these four. And I'll make my cursor a little bit bigger. You have the one-way teleport pads, which you can use for doors. You need to think about this a little bit, but if you have your outside and your inside on two different locations, so for example you have one map with roofs only and you have another map with the insides of the homes. Now when you step through a door on the roof map, then you're transported to the inside version of the map. But if you step back outside, or if you because the other maybe I can better show it like this. Let's see here. If you would have a token stepping from, oh dear, so okay, zoom in. Let's say this is outside. Yoo-hoo. Change the token layer. No, it's okay. Let's say this is outside and this is inside. If I were to this is so difficult to explain with
what you're saying is that you would have two maps showing the top-down view of like a house with the roof on, so that when you step on the doorstep, it will move you inside the house and move you to a map that doesn't have the roof, allowing you to see inside.
Yeah, but if you move on the inside on the same teleport path, then you move back outside again.
Yes.
So you want a one-way. So teleport paths.
What you're saying is, when you move, with the one-way one, when you move outside on the map without the roof, the roof remains on.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. So the one-way teleport paths are used for doorways, maybe for other ways as well. But you step on one, you drop on the other, and as long as you're on the other one, I'm going to delete this one because it's. So here's my So here is a one-way. Move there, and it should be okay. This is so again. Let's test this one. Working. Oh, I still have the event on. I need to remove that as well. Okay. So basically, if I move on this teleport, then I'm teleported. If I move on this one, then I'm teleported. You're back again. And if I move again on the other side of the one side drop, then you're not teleported. So the two-way, the one-way. Then we have the mapped path. These one I created specifically for, if you want to randomize, if you really want to annoy your players by a random teleport dungeon, you're going to use these ones. The pop-up you saw earlier on with the initialized paths, they are linked to these four paths, and you can say, okay, this one's mapped path number 1, this is number 2, number 3, and number 4. If I initialize it, let's do it again, which takes unfortunately quite some time, but okay. Four teleport paths. Now mapped path called 1, 2, 3, and 4, and after a while there we are. So map path 1 is linked to number 4. Map path 2 is completely random, 1, 2, 3, or 4. The third and the fourth as well. So, and there's another map which is also using these. Need to reload the map again. So if you remember, map path number 1, which is this one, is linked to number 4, which if I recall correctly is this one. So it will be moved here. This one is completely random. So it will be moved to here or to here. By the way, the reason why you see your token popping back all the time is, maybe I should turn it off for now, is the VBL move check. Let's see if I'm correct in this one. Yeah. VBL move check first moves you back and then calculates your whole path and checks if there is any vision blocking layer you're passing through, and if you are, then it stops at that place. So this is the reason why you see you just saw the token move back again. But basically this one is completely randomized teleports. The third one and the fourth one, which you already explained here earlier, is the intermap teleports. The same as this one, except for these are linked to another map. The difference, because these all have different names. This one is, for example, called, let's pop them up now. This one is called pad drop 1. This is pad jump. This is pad end. This one is pad start, but it's on the token layer, so you don't see it here. Pad end, pad start. This is mapped pad. Well, these are all called map pad because they're all unique. While these interjump, well, bad example because it's one way. Interpad 1 will be connected to interpad 1. So the initialization will, if it finds an interpad 1, it will be looking on all other maps for another interpad map interpad 1. If it finds it, it links the two together. So it knows if you step on here, you need to go to that map, and you need to go to a token with exactly the same name and put the token on there. Is that clear?
Understood.
Yeah.
The one thing I have, the problem I see is keeping all the different pads straight. Like when I'm building a map,
yeah,
I have to go to this map to copy that token, or just memorize the names,
yeah,
and place it on my dungeon map. Basically, is that correct?
Yeah.
Is there a way to use summon to make that job a little easier?
Yeah, you can use summon token in summon token, which you saw. What was it again? No, it should be here actually. Summon token here. You can list of summon token special. So you get a drop-down list of interpad 1, pad start 1, pad end. So all the tokens. The only problem is that all these tokens on the default map are on the object layer, and the reason I did that is so you can click on them and get information about it. Like here, pad start 1 is connected to yada yada yada. So you first need to move them all to the token layer before you can use that function. But if you do, so if you go to object, select them all, right mouse click, change to token. They should all be on token layer. Yep. Then now you can, well, let's try it out. It's another feature, but let's see, this one is not too heavy. If I select a token, then go to summon, should be here, yeah. Now, special pads. There should be more here. I don't know why there aren't more here, but or maybe the list wasn't long enough. That's possible. But basically, if you set it up correctly, then all the pads should be here. You can, well, pad at 1, okay, and here it is. Another way to do this, if you're going to sneakily into features anyway, is use the search token. Pads, I think they're all called pads. You want to see normal tokens, all layers, move token, no, copy token to current location. This is a seek token. This will search all maps, all tokens, and it looks for partial strings, in this case pad. There are all kinds of settings. In this case I'm looking for normal tokens. What I wanted to show as image results, but let's do this a little bit faster. If I click it, then here we are. Here I have an overview of every token on every map which has the string partial pad in it. And well, pad drop for example, I don't want a pad jump, I don't want pad start 1, and they should all be dropped depending on the layer. Let's see, assign pad. Here it is. So
it drops it to the current layer or the layer that it's coming from?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it drops to the same layer as it comes from. Yeah. Because, yeah, here, pad drop is from the object layer, and it's object layer, while pad start here is on the token layer. Just clicking around a bit, and this is also a token layer, apparently. So this is another way to quickly draw tokens to you. I'll go a little bit deeper into seek token later on. But there's two ways. So summon token or seek token. Seek, not seek token. Yeah, seek token. Summon token, seek token. Yeah.
You have a lot of buttons in your campaign window, but would you want to use a couple of them?
Yeah. Good one. I have actually you only need one. This one. Backup trick macros. That's the only campaign button you need, and it will start its own well, it has its own button thingy. And for setup, it's a bit more extensive. So there are more buttons here. For utilities, it's a lot smaller. So if you're running a game, you should only need this one. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. For now, I'm going to use a campaign button because it's easier. So you have interpads. Okay. Then the last time we also have border pads, and well, let me show how that works. Now I shouldn't move over them. Let's see. This is a. Oh, I've moved them. Okay. Border pads. Basically, if I move 2 steps beyond the border, then it's triggered as a teleport, and it moves. It should move to. But it may be that the grid is a bit off. Yeah, they're not correctly in line on the grid, so it is a bit off. But basically, the amount of space I move beyond this pad, then it's activated, and it will move the token to exactly the same spot in relation to its linked pair. Is that clear? Because I think I sound a little bit. Yeah, I thought this would happen. The way I've structured these, it's very hard to get actually outside of them. Okay, managed. So basically, if I move this token 3 grids beyond this border pad, then this border pad is activated, and you will be transported to this one, and then again 3 cells beyond that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, border pads are basically the same as these. They have the same functionality, save for the fact that if you move over them, they are activated. Instead, you have to move on them, as you have with the normal pads.
I have a question with the borders.
Yeah.
Will they activate if you move on them, or will they only activate if you move over them? I noticed that the vertical ones are actually not quite centered within the grid cells, so I'm just wondering which part would actually count as being an activation or not.
Yeah, on them as well.
Okay.
And that's also
any cell they're touching, basically.
Any cell they're touching. This is the reason I created these, so you can really see what they're touching.
Yes.
So I created them later on because sometimes I was annoyed because I couldn't really see where it was positioned. So I created these so it's clear where they are actually covering the area.
So they're actually 3 cells wide.
Well, they're as wide as you want to be in, because where the hell are they? Token layer? Not token layer.
At the moment, they're 3 cells
exactly,
wide.
at the moment they are about 3 cells wide. If I would to change it back to the object layer, and here I can resize them to 1 cell.
Okay.
So this is safer to position like this, because you're certain that only these cells will be activated.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we can test this. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Okay. So that's the borders. I think these are all the pads. No, they're not. I have some here left. Event pads. I haven't discussed these. Yeah, event pads. Which are, for example, what is it? This is a trap. The T of trap. This token is not actually because it has. Let me say it differently. This token has the name event pad 2. And how event pads work are that any pad you call event pad with a number, you can link an event, same as in the settings, which I showed you earlier. If you, for example, before teleport, you can link an event to it. You can do the same with tokens. So, for example, for this token, I have linked a trap to it. For this token, event pad 1, I have linked a pit trap to it. Well, the pit and the trap macros should be here. Yeah, here they are, but you can't. Is this working? Oh, on there. Yeah. So on the lib event macros, you can see my cursor.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So here you have a standard pit. Here you have standard trap. Now, this trap here, back to object layer, I need to dig this one up. Let's see, event areas, set event pad, here it is. Set event pad, and you just saw a small flicker in the screen. What it does, it goes to the lib event macros, these, creates a list of all the event macros that exist. So you have them here in your drop-down list. Here you can pick the, where is it again? Limit side standard trap. Here it is, standard trap. And then you can say, okay, when should this trap be activated? If a token moves onto it, or off, or over, or zero move, well, that's the one where you wiggle the token. Leaves and return, so you move off the trap, put a waypoint on the map, and then you move back. Moves but remain, so if you move within the pit, trap. So usually for a trap you would say, well, if you move onto it, if you move over it, and that's it. These are the two events that will spring a trap. Agreed? So clear?
Yep.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay, so now if I move, where is my example token? Here it is. Over this trap. I need let's see if this works. Here you can see in the chat you have triggered a trap and sustained 3 hits. Clear?
Good.
Okay, so that's events. Events you can, there are multiple spots where you can link events, but these are the event pads, so that's a pad where you can link an event to. Then the final, no, not final, then there's this pad, which is called a ward. This one is ward 1, and basically what a ward does is the following. It does not allow you to enter. It even does not allow you to cross. So warded areas are areas where players, and the GM in this case as well, cannot move. And the final pad is the assign pad. A lot of explanation. Basically what it does is you can link a token to this one, and for that you need another macro, assign tokens to pads. So let's see, this one is assign pad green 1. I hope this works. So this is green 1. If you create assign pad blue 1, you get an extra tab. So the second name, or the first name of the assign pad is a tab, and the second name is a number. So you can create tabs and numbers. And here I can link my dragon token to. Now if I are to execute the assign pad, execute the assign pad, then okay, the dragon is moved onto the pad. You saw it?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's an assigned pad. So you can drop them all over the map, and then you can do an invasion army in one go. Usually you put these on the hidden layer so your players won't see them. So already changed.
So it's like summoning, basically.
Yeah, it's summoning to a specific spot. And these don't work on through maps. So the dragon has to be on the same map. But you can put them in some hidden section of the map. You assign them to these paths. You can also link these assigned paths because there's a macro, and I think it's explained if you click on it, but I'm not sure. Or it's in the manual. But there is a macro which you can activate this this pad. So if somebody, for example, if the dragon moves onto the trap, then you can trigger an event which activates this assigned pad, which draws a dragon or whatever on top of itself. Bit advanced stuff, but there are actually people who are using this because they asked me to program it, and I did. And I think that actually concludes the different types of pads. Well, it's close to 1 hour. 5611 pads. Shall we take a short break?
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So second part. As I said, we've finished all the pads. What we didn't. We had we have actually a couple to go, and they're here. They're called trees, or better yet, they're called canopy. I think I'm going to swap this time to the example map because I can show it better. This is the old map I used for the bag of tricks to as a showcase. Hopefully I have canopy here as well. This is foliage, awesome, canopy, yes. So what's the difference? There are 3 types of tokens which change image when you move over them. The 3 are roof, over here, foliage, over here, and canopy, over here. Obviously you can get any picture you like. Again, the name is important. The only exception in this case is foliage, and this one doesn't. This one does. For foliage you can have a handout, and what happens is the following. If I move a token over one of these 3, then, well, if I move it over foliage without anything, then it will, well, in this case, but you didn't see it in the handout. It swaps it for an image with a tree trunk at the center. If I move it over this one, then it swaps it for this picture, and this picture can be found in the handout. And apparently here is a picture in the handout as well, but the tree trunk is so small that you can't see it anymore. Okay. This you have to do yourself. So you actually have to put a picture in the handout, and then it swaps when you move over it, and it unswaps when you you remove the token. Also, it was a bit tricky, but if you move 2 tokens on it and you move 1, then it should remain swapped, and it does. And it only swaps back when you move off it again. Now canopy works the same, with the slight difference that if you call a pad canopy, then it will automatically add a tree trunk. And which tree trunk it will use, you can set in, where art thou tree trunks, scattering canopy, choose trunks. You're probably going to see a flicker again. They're very small, and the reason for that is because the entire image of the foliage is swapped. And if you, so you need a whole image of nothing with a small trunk at the base. These trunks are all situated again on the base map, which is also one of the reasons you need to set the base map in the settings. And here you can just say which tree trunks you would like to use when you're building a forest. So you can drop infinite amounts of trunks on your base map. That infinite amount will show up here, and here you can say, okay, I would like to use the 1, 2, 5, but I don't want to use these types, so don't use them. Now, based on these settings, when you start building a forest with Canopy, then the tree trunks will be assigned automatically. So you only need a picture of foliage, and when you move a token on top of the foliage, it will be. This is actually the foliage. If you move a picture or a token on top of the foliage, then the image will swap, and you will see the tree trunk. So it's subtle difference between the two.
So it's a random trunk then.
They're random trunks, unless you say it's one. So for foliage it's not, because you have to decide what your alternative image is. For Canopy it's random. Exactly. Which I like, so you don't have to think too much. Building a forest I will show later on, but this is still the pad section, which I thought I was finished. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm going to. Okay, I am, because I'm GM. And the roof, same thing. Basically, this works exactly the same as foliage, with one difference. This red line here is a halo, I think. Yeah, it's a halo. If you move on the roof, then you get a halo outline, and the image is always swapped for transparent. So not for a handout image, but for a transparent image, which is situated in the, where are you, table section. So here, this is the reason why you need to import tables. Well, not the only one. Here's the roof. Obviously it's transparent, so there's not much to see. And here are other images which are used for the back of tricks, which you will see later on. Okay. I think I really have. Yeah. Now I have had all the pads. So next section, areas, and for that we will be going to the difficult terrain map. This is a fairly new feature which I haven't explained much. But if you look in the chat window, and I'll put it over here now, that's a bit, so this, when I move the dragon, you will notice a couple of things. You move 9, you didn't move over any difficult terrain. You didn't move over any very difficult terrain, so your move remains 9. This is of course very annoying for your game, but I only built this for people who want to use difficult terrain, and you need to code the actual code what you want to do it in the lib event macros again. Now if I start moving into difficult terrain like this, you will notice that my move is 6. Plus I did apparently 1 step into difficult terrain, which is doubled, plus 2. So my total move is 8. I did 2 steps. I did this cell and this cell. Now if I move into very difficult terrain, and it's even worse, then I have 1 cell left in the difficult and 3 cells in the very difficult. So in total there is 1 and 2 per cell, so 6. So my total move is 11. This is the part which I told that it's, well, the calculating part is a bit annoying, so I have the program doing it for you. Is this clear? I'll explain later how you create it.
It's clear.
Yeah. So how do you create it? First of all, now it's all about these macros here. Define, assign, show, draw, and fill. First I'll show you to them. Let's see, difficult terrain. I'll show you the difficult terrain, which is the gray area. And I want the pads on the background layer, and I would like to see the, what is it again? Area difficult terrain, the triangles. Okay. here are all the coordinates, and if you look a bit closer, you now see the difficult terrain mapped. So it's filled. Now, if I again do the same thing, but now for the very difficult terrain, and I use the very difficult terrain, which are 2 triangles, then that one will be filled as well.
Do you have that all cached, or is it just searching the map for it?
What do you mean?
For the different difficult terrain areas.
Well, the areas, they're in what you see here in the chat. These coordinates are stored on a lib token. And actually, this method, because there are basically two ways to trigger an event, either through paths, moved over token, or over an area, moved over points. And this one is way faster. So for large areas, and also areas which are not square, which paths usually tend to go rectangle. So for these types of areas, then defining an area is the way to go. And the coordinates are stored into a lib token. So it drags it from the lib token and it just puts them on here. Yes?
Okay, that's what I was asking, yeah.
Yeah.
So could I possibly, like, manually copy the terrain tokens to a different area and then like have it rescan it?
Yep. I'll show you how this works. Yeah, I'll show you how this works. So now I would like to I think I first need to draw an area. Yeah, okay, let's go for draw area. For that I use the area marker. That's the easiest to do. Now where are you? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this here. I need an area marker. One moment. This is an area marker. Back to difficult terrain. Oh, yeah, here it is. So, well, the boring way is copy paste. A faster way is fill area. Use area marker. You put in the coordinates. I have no idea what happens when I do this, but let's see what happens. Okay, an error. Great. Something to add to my list. Fill area not working. Then I'll show you another method. A third method is draw area. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. And for a again, draw area. Now the area marker should be shown right here, and it isn't. Let's try it like this. Draw area. Okay, now it is. So I pick the area marker. Now if I start drawing, it doesn't matter which token I use, but if I drag a token, then the area will be drawn. And I build it such that if I move over an area again, that it won't be double, as you can see. So this is probably one of the fastest. Well, I've had more methods, but this is, I think, the most easiest way to to create an area. If I move this dragon to another layer, for example object layer, and then start drawing, then I need to add something else to my list because it should be drawn on the object layer now.
Well, that shouldn't work on object layer because I think only on token move works on the token layer.
All right. Oh, you're right. Okay, that's a good one. Because I did build a code that but it's of course it's not activated because it doesn't work on the object layer. Yeah, you're right. So it would never work. Okay, change to token. So okay, you can only draw on the token layer. And now I have an area. So what I can do now, it's been a while, but if I'm correct, it should be define area. Oh, come on. That's a pity. It's not working. Basically, you click define area, and it asks, there are two methods defined, and I don't understand, maybe because I have a token selected. One moment. I do like this. No, pity, I can't show it. Define area, I need to debug as well. Basically you see two methods, either get last path, so if I were to drag this token like this, and then start the macro, I can say pick the dragon and use this last path as the area and define it. The other method is pick a token with a certain state, in this case area marker, and area marker has a special state which you should also know. That state is called special area, because it's very fast, that's the reason, and then the area is defined. So what I've done here is basically drag the dragon over this area, then push define area, and used, it's a pity that I can't show it to you, but okay, and then use the use the second method, and then the area is immediately defined. On-show area is, well, it's the other way around. You can remove the, oh dear, I shouldn't have done that. Oh. Weird. If you do this while I thought impersonated token is on, then it takes about 5 minutes to delete the tokens, but fortunately it didn't take 5 minutes. So that's good. But okay, you can see that they're removed again.
That's because you don't have the select window open.
Yeah, I tested it, and last time I tested all the windows, and select window was a little bit slower, and impersonated was terrible, but now not. So I don't know. Sign area, hopefully I can do. No, it's also broken, obviously. Fill area already showed you. Maybe on another map. It's my last attempt. Let's do the base map. Could be map related. I've been tinkering a lot. So sign area. No. No, that's not. Okay, no, I can't show it to you. But okay, in the sign area you can also link the event to that specific area. And then that event, which I've showed you earlier, which are on the event tokens. Sorry, not here, of course. Window selects. So on the event markers, these event markers will show up, and you can pick one if the token moves onto, or well, as I showed you how events work. If you move over them, onto, remain, etc., then that area will be triggered. Okay, that is, well, that concludes the event area. Moving on to animations. Any questions about by the way, about the event areas? Nobody?
The event area, I mean, like for the
What I just showed.
You draw an area, and then if you cross into the area, it'll trigger an event.
Exactly. As you saw with the difficult terrain, you can. Difficult terrain is a type of event. You can do anything. You can also build in a teleport if you move into the area if you would like.
Okay.
Example map. Back to the example map. Okay. So animations. Oh, that's true. I did forget something. I can't show it to you while I'm a GM. You can only see it as a player. But there is a function which is related to paths, which I forgot, and that's set roof, which is pretty useful if I can find it. Set roof, here it is. What it does, set entry-exit doors for this roof. You need to know what the name is of the door. What is it? It's door house number 3. So if I run set roof, yeah, here, house entrance number 3. This means if I check this one and then click OK, and as again, I can't show it to you because I'm GM. If I would be a player and I do this, from layout, if I do this, then my, of course, if you draw area, I need to toggle it off as well. Sorry for that. Okay. So if I move onto the roof, then I would be, well, the roof actually acts as a warded area. You cannot move into a house unless you move through the door. So I can only move into the house if I do this, and I cannot move in any other way. If the door is also locked, or actually if it's even closed, it will check that as well. If the door is closed, if it's closed, then you cannot enter the house, and you get a pop-up screen saying you cannot. If you move onto the house, you get a pop-up screen saying, well, I'm sorry, but you can only move through a door, or try using a door, or something like that. And if you move through a closed door, then it will put you back, and it will say, tell to you, well, first open the door, please. So that's one part I forgot. Well, animated doors. Let's show you how this works. You put a door, and in this case, the name is only relevant, for example, when you want to use set roof. But if you want to be on the safe side, you use door and then anything else. You select the door, and the door needs to be like this. That means a token which covers 4 grid cells, of which the door is centered in the grid and then moves preferably this way. So from center to east. That's the, let's see if I'm actually right about that one. If I clear facing.
Is there a setting for that?
Okay, apparently this works as well, which is interesting. What do you mean? Is there a setting for that?
As to which way the door swings?
No. Yeah, there is. I'll show you. But I thought, that's interesting, because I thought that it only works if the door, if the default door, so the default picture, if I clear facing, I thought this way, but apparently it also works if it points that way. But it's possible that the vision blocking layer I haven't installed here. If you start using vision blocking layer, then I'm pretty certain that the token, if you use clear facing, it has to be orientated like this, or it won't work. Or the vision blocking. Oh damn. Sorry. Okay. So you have a door, you select it, then you use the button set door, which I noticed is here, and you get a very large setting screen. Which is the following. Here you can set what type of door it is. For example, this one moves clockwise, or it can slide to the left, to the right, to the north, to the side, south, sorry, clockwise or anti-clockwise. Here you can check whether it's a double door or not. I'll show you that later on. If it's rotating, it always gives you the current angle, so you should only run this macro when the door is closed. It assumes the door is closed, and it gives the number it sets here is 0, which is pointing down. If I were to do this and run the settings again, here I actually get an error saying, well, aren't you making a mistake? Because the settings are already set, so I need to use a clear door for that one. Let's do that. Do I have any doors here? That's a big question. No, I don't know. Does anyone know what the doors are in the default? No one?
I don't see that you have any of the downloads that have doors in it.
I don't. Okay. One other way.
It's Torsten's. Looks like one of Torsten's doors.
Yeah, you're right. What I can do is make a copy, and I have a button here, reset all props. Yes, this clears any properties which are on the token. So this is a clean token now. So again, if I were to do it like this, set door, Then here you see the degrees which is currently on. So it assumes that the closed door is at 55 degrees, like this. Open door is irrespective of the angle it's currently in. 90 degrees is this way, 180 degrees is this way, etc. So 160 degrees means that the door will be moving 90 degrees and a little bit beyond that until approximately here. Sliding door, well, I'm going to use the anti-clockwise animation properties. How many seconds does it take for the door to open? 2000 mean 2 seconds. Do I want to use the door switch button? Well, let's say yes, I want to use a switch. Do you want to lock the door? There's a GM option, that's not. And the proximity of a player token to switch. This is to prevent players to start clicking on all the door buttons if they're not standing next to it. Is that also clear? And it's in.
Is that based on the footprint or on the actual image?
Footprint. Of the button.
Is that measurement in grid cells?
In grid cells. In grid cells.
Okay, so if you're using like 10 distance per cell,
yeah,
then you would put 1 for if you want them to be right next to it.
Yeah. Usually you put it in here 1, so you have to stand next to the switch. If you're not standing next to the switch won't work.
So if the scale was at 5 feet per grid, you put 5?
No. Well, let's have a look.
No, I think it's in grid square.
Yeah, I think it's a grid square. I'm pretty certain. Here you can again trigger events. If somebody either opens the door, closes the door, or both, you trigger an event. And here you can set the VBL options, but I won't be doing this for this door because I'm pretty certain it won't work because of the orientation of the picture. So I'll leave it at this. No, I have now set up a door. This pause you see because it has added button, and here is the switch. Now, if I am to click on this switch, nothing happens as you can see, unless I click too fast. If I activate switches on the campaign panel here, then now it should work. And as you can see, anti-clockwise, and it's moving double, which means that what I explained. Okay, now it's working. When I set up the time lock delay, you saw in the settings earlier on. This door opening and closing again, that's probably a caching issue, but it took longer than well, again 500 milliseconds. So this number apparently is too low for now. So I had 1000, and then this shouldn't happen anymore. Open and close. And here, of course, as well. Well, same thing for double door. As you saw earlier. No, this one is. And here you can see a double door sliding, closed.
Is that actually moving the token? Or
yeah.
Instead of the facing?
No, this is moving the token. So
okay.
With the rotating doors, it's rotating the token. It remains in the same spot. Here it's actually moving the token. As you can see, it's here now. And if I do this, and it's over here now. To create a double door, you need to call one door with a number. In this case, door 3. And the other door, you have to have the same name, and you have to put the letter A behind it. It's well, it's how it works. That's door animation. Now the vision blocking stuff for door animation. Let's do that now as well. And for that, I need to go to this map because I have a couple of doors set up. I don't know which one. Let's see. Is this? Yeah, you can see the vision blocking layer here lighting up. Door number 6. And this time I'm going to use double door. Oh, wait, I can use this one as well. Now here you see a screen pop up. This is the vision blocking layer screen, and the screen pops up depending on the settings of the door. So if I select door, do set door again. Go to the vision blocking layer, and here you can say use vision blocking for door. This tab will only appear if you've turned on use vision blocking layer in the settings, which I explained earlier on. If this one is turned on, then a menu will appear if you select multiples of these. If you select none, then it will automatically open door, and if you were to only select peek through a window in the door, then if you were to hit the trigger, then only this one would be activated automatically. If you select more than them, then you get a pop-up in which you can make a choice. And your choices are, for example, peek through the window, and voila. Now you can peek through the window, click it again, and the window will close. Peek through the keyhole. Now you will notice that the keyhole is in the center, but that's mainly because tokens should be snapped to grid in order for the bag of tricks to work correctly. And if I were to put the keyhole over here, then you can, well, you hardly see anything. So you have to unsnap it to grid and then move it to the correct position. So that's the reason why I put the keyhole in the center of the door and not on where you would expect the keyhole, in this case over here. This is stuff you can't change. This is hard coded in. So you can, window is always this size, the keyhole is always that size. It is, if I remember, no, get that. The next one, with actual animation. Crack the door a little bit open, and voila. As you can see, in the case of a double door, only one door is moving. And that's based on the assumption that if you want to crack the door open, you want to be a little bit sneaky and you won't be opening both doors. Click it again and the door will close. It will use the animation time for which you set. So for opening the entire door, or opening a crack of the door, or the other option, opening it halfway, will always take 2 seconds, or the same amount of time. Close it again. And the final option, all the way, will do both doors. So voila. And same thing for rotating. I think this is a rotating door. This is not a, no, this is a PC token. Now it is. Okay? All the way. You see it rotate, and I actually apply the vision blocking layer on the door. So if you were to rotate it, for example, halfway, then the vision blocking layer is applied neatly on the door. That's the animation of doors. Any questions? None? Okay.
There seems to be a little bit of a BBL fragment there.
Here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, there is. That might be because I've been fiddling here. Let's see if that's. I've tested this thoroughly, but I've also been editing this map. This could be that the vision blocking layer is in the wrong spot. That's I can check that. Let's close it and open it halfway again. And I know if no, it's because I was I probably draw a vision blocking layer somewhere over here, and the door only clears exactly the spot where it's on. So that's the reason why you see the sliver of vision blocking layer. Had nothing to do with the door. It's the short version. So that's the sliding, rotating doors, animated token movement. That one I haven't checked out in a really long time. I use these for my grenades actually, and I should have. Here it is. It seems that I have been using my eagle, which was over here. Oh dear. messed it a bit up, but okay. I had some, let's see, animate move, yeah, here it is. Nope. Yeah, I've messed it up a bit. I don't know where I have to put this one, but let's see. Animate move. There we go. Okay, and the eagle is moving as well, but I've moved that one off the grid. But as you can see, okay, the eagle is moving on top there. So this one. Let's try that again. I hope I positioned them right. Nah, I didn't. Anyway, this is a vision blocking layer. You can see that the eagle is bouncing off. You can also bounce off eagles. And if I put them in the right starting position, you can see them go this way, this way, this way, and then back to their beginning spot again. How to set this up? For that you use the animate move button. You select a token, for this example eagle, and I'm getting a bit tired of talking, to be honest. Been talking for nearly 2 hours now. There are let's see. Yeah, well, you can set the coordinates of where it has to move to. And these coordinates can either be relative to the current position. So if you were to say x, which is horizontal movement 10, positive means move to the right, so move 10 squares to the right. If you do relative position. If you do not relative position, then it will move to the actual x coordinate 10, and the y coordinate, well, this y coordinate in this case is 0. So the token will be moved to an actual coordinate of the grid. If you do relative, then it will move, in this case, 10 squares to the right. Here you can set what it should do. It can bounce, it can continue, it can stop. Continue means that it will move through vision blocking layer, it will move through objects. Bounce, as you saw the eagle do, it hits the vision blocking layer and it bounces back. Stop, it hits the vision blocking layer and stops. And then the layers, which will be checked, vision blocking layer, background layer, object layer, hidden layer, token layer. So if I were to check this one, then anything on the hidden layer, if the eagle, if this thing here, what is it, fireplace, or well, or whatever, is on the hidden layer, if the eagle hits it, then it will either bounce, continue, or stop. And it will also move in the direction, it will actually be, so if I hit the point, you saw it move back, but if I animate move, if I move the side, as you will notice, it takes a bit long this, but it calculates how the impact is, and based on the impact it moves it to that direction. So that's the animation of tokens. I've also built functions for this, so you can hard code this again for events, or in my framework I use it for grenades and torpedoes. And then the final animation is animate text, which you already saw a little bit of. This one. This is the text you can enter, the title of the frame, any HTML which you want to put on top, for example color or font size, that kind of stuff. Start position, well, this is all kind of settings. Width of the frame, height of the frame, delay of every character which pops up, and print text in upperclass or not. So in this case it will, this is an example of the text animation. If I click OK, then every player, so not only here, but every player will get a pop-up on the screen showing this text. You can all see it?
Alias did say that about 10 minutes ago, though, I noticed now, so you should be back soon.
Okay, good. These are the animation types. And funny enough, that concludes half of my list.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, indeed, wow. Well, I mean, on this list, on the next list, I've actually already mentioned a couple of things, like building a forest satellite, but I haven't showed them yet. What we're getting now to are the utility macros, which are... Oh, I haven't done group. No. Oh, okay, I can show you how groups work. Groups are very easy.
I'm likely going to have to bail it soon because it's later and a lot longer than I thought it would take.
Yeah. For me as well, because we started at 9, I think. It's now 2 hours, and we're well, roughly halfway.
Well, if that's halfway through your list, why don't you save the other half for a later date?
Yeah, I probably should. What I can do is I can show you the quick utilities. That will only take 10 minutes, and then I'll save the rest for another time. The quick utilities are at the bottom here. Summon token I already explained. Click a button, click summon token, and you get a pop-up. You can select tokens, which will in this case be dropped on the token itself. Set draw order. I hardly ever use it, but if you move a token here on this one, well, in this case it's on top, but if you want it below, or you want this one on top, you can select this one. This draw order is 520. This one is okay, a lot, but if I were to make 510 and move it again, then it's below. Oh yeah, these are grouped tokens, so now you have to see the group function as well. Renumber tokens, useful if you build forests and you start deleting edits for all kinds of trees, and you want to have a continuous number. You can select them all and you renumber the tokens. Toggle special, well, that's easy. Here is a forest which I created earlier on. If I toggle special canopy, then you will see the following. And voila. Remove all canopy at once, or all foliage at once. And if you toggle it again, you can do it for roofs, foliage and canopy, then everything will return again. Remove %20. Sometimes if you drag a token onto a map, then the spaces are replaced by %20, and by simply selecting the button or selecting a lot of tokens and clicking this one, it's automatically substituted. Set light source. Oh, here you see all the vision blocking layer, by the way. Set light source. This is the graphical user interface I explained earlier. The tabs are the groups, and what you see here are the types, or the light types. You can add multiple at once, and you can also select multiple tokens and apply multiple light sources at once, which is very useful. Okay. Set token size. This one shouldn't be used anymore when the new version of MapTool is out, so I'm going to skip it. Seek token I already explained earlier. A lot of settings. Go through them once. Switch maps. This one's particularly useful. I use it quite often. A GM can switch to a certain map and then press Ctrl E or F, one of them both. But you can also force a switch map. For example, let's force everyone to the example map. Well, I'm the only one who is logged in, but if you were to log into this campaign, then if I select you, or you will all select it or unselect you, then everyone who is selected will be forced to this map. Rumble's dice box, as the name tells, it's not mine, although I did pretty hefty recoding. This is basically a dice box you can put on 2D hundreds, and I want to see the totals. Roll it, and here we are. You can I think tooltips for each die. Roll again, and here you see I roll 82 because I rolled 16 and 66. There are a lot of options. Again, go through them. You can set the dice, but it takes too much time to go through them now. Switch map, show handout. For that I need to go to the base map. I have one example. Similar to switch map and the text animation, which forces all clients. This one does the same. This token has a handout, as you can see here. If I select this one, I do show handout. Again, I can check all clients connected. If I do OK, then all the checked clients get this picture forced on their screen. Set proof I already explained. Toggle event move. If I am to move onto a teleport pad, then I'm teleported. I hope. Oh, this is a special pad. This that's not working. Where's my example token? Well, now here it is. When toggle move is triggered, if I toggle the event move again, or if I toggle the event move, then all events are turned off, so the teleports won't work anymore. If I, well, it's a toggle, take it again and turn it on. Reset all props, I already showed it earlier. If you want to clear a token of any properties, you can select it, click the button. I've built this in to make sure that you know what you're doing. Then you click OK and everything is removed. These are other people's macros which I added here, and these, well, I can show the final one, vision blocking layer. Toggle mask VBL, this takes too much time, but I can show you the token stamps. Here's an example. We have a rusty truck. Set VBL stamp. As you can see, the vision blocking layer is removed. I would like to apply one. It's a cross, no offset, no thickness, etc. OK. Now when I move this, the vision blocking is moved accordingly. Also, if I rotate it, and it's move based, so only if I move it, it's updated. But even if I rotate this one, it's updated. And that's it. Those are the quick ones I wanted to show you, and that leaves some well, forest and the other VBL grenade, mass VBL, for some other time to explain. I'm going to stop recording now.